Hello friends, hello. I'm hopping on to do a live Q&A. I'm Angie McPherson. I am a branding photographer, marketing strategist, and hype woman for creative entrepreneurs. And today I'm talking directly to branding photographers, and I'm going to be giving you tips on how to capture behind the scenes at your next branding shoot. If you're here live, say hello. I'm answering questions. Feel free to leave a question. If you're watching the replay wherever on YouTube, feel free to leave a question there. Okay, so let's get started. I have 3 tips for you to capture behind the scenes at your next shoot. Before I get into that, I just wanted to say, oh my goodness, I just launched a Facebook community for branding photographers. If you haven't joined, wherever you're watching this, I'll make sure I link it. It's called the Branding Photographer Community on Facebook, and it's for branding photographers and photographers that are interested in pivoting to branding photography. Completely free group. We're going to connect with each other, learn and grow. I'll be hopping in to do some live coaching, answering your questions. So if you are a photographer and want to join, wherever this is posted, just go ahead and click the link and I will accept you into the group. I'm so excited. I've been wanting to do this for so long, and so many people have asked me to create a group. So I've done it, and I can't wait to see you in there for more conversations just like this. Okay, so let's get started. First of all, why I feel it's so important to get behind the scenes at your next shoot. It is such a huge avenue for marketing. I mean, for people to see you actually working, capturing those photos for your clients, and then you're going to be posting the actual photos afterwards, it's like they see the transformation. It could literally be a video of you photographing your client or walking through and kind of showing off the location. Once they see that, they're like, oh, wow, like this is cool, kind of behind the scenes look. They become like, kind of a fan of what you're doing. And then they see those photos and they're like, oh my gosh, I need that. I need that. Look at how she photographed in this dark corner, or look at how she styled this little space for the client. And then look at the actual photos that the client is getting. I need a professional photographer, a professional branding photographer to take these photos for me. So I truly think that behind the scenes is huge for reaching new audiences, for getting your current audience to convert into actual clients. It also just like really helps to build that personal brand for people to see exactly what you're doing. So that's just my little spiel on behind the scenes. I wanted to have this conversation because I sent out an email to my list last week about repurposing content by using clips from your video, your camera roll. And people are like, how do you get these behind the scenes shots? I don't have any behind the scenes. So here are my 3 ways that I get behind the scenes that you can too. Number 1 is to set up a time lapse. This is just the easiest thing that you could do. You don't need an assistant to do this. You don't need to hire anyone to do this. Literally use your phone, set it up. Right now I have it on the windowsill. You can set it up on a desk, on a windowsill. You can bring a tripod with you if you want. Literally sit it, go to your camera and click the button that says time lapse. And just let her rip. I mean, you can literally forget that the camera is there, that the phone is there, and you are either setting up the next concept for your client, or you're talking with your client, or you're actually photographing your client, and it'll condense, maybe your 5 to 10 minute video into like 30 seconds. And it just looks so cool. And you can just really, no one's going to sit there and, some people will, but people won't sit there and watch a 10-minute video of you photographing somebody, while they're in line at the store or they're sitting and scrolling through their phone. But they will look at a 30-second fast-paced video of you just hustling. And these look so cool. They're so fun to use for reels because you can easily just throw a trending audio on it, or you can speak over it. So easy to do. Number 2 is to capture B-roll. So B-roll is just a phrase like in the film making industry that stands for like, I think behind or background. It's not like the primary role, the A roll, which is like actually showing what's going on, but it's just B-roll of the location. So where you're shooting, or maybe a pan of the setup that your client has, maybe just a pan of you kind of like walking to the shoot location and showing, what kind of locations you're going to stop at along the way. It's like secondary footage. And so this is good too, because you could just literally have so many of these clips in your camera roll. And when you get inspired or you want to post some type of content, you can literally pull it up and think of an idea to put it with. I try to take a video at every single shoot, just a quick 10-second video of where I'm shooting. And so I'll have a video of, somebody's home office, a video of, maybe if we're shooting outdoors at a park, or a video of, let me try and think here, maybe a photo studio. And I'll have a bunch of those clips from months in my camera roll. And a few months ago, I was like, you know what? It'd be really helpful to talk to people about what type of location ideas I think are great for branding shoots. And I literally would pull those clips from the past couple months, put them together, put some trending audio on it, and make it a reel. I didn't have to like put on makeup or show my face or talk to the camera. It's literally footage that is already in my camera roll that I put together for a reel or an Instagram story or, you know, a YouTube video, however you show up with video for, you know, your audience. So let me know in the chat here if you have those types of clips in your camera roll already. So the first one is a time lapse. So just say yes in the comments. And the second one is B-roll. Do you have these clips already in your camera roll? If you do, you're already halfway there. You already have a great behind the scenes. You just have to actually share it with the world. You know, don't just kind of take these videos and just kind of keep them on the back burner. Those are pieces of marketing. Those are great ways to attract new clients. So the first one is to have a time lapse. And the second one is to capture B-roll or kind of background footage. So if you have those, just let me know in the chat if you do. Okay, so the third one I have, the third tip I have is to bring an assistant. So the first two tips I gave you were something you can do on your own, completely free, completely easy. The third one is kind of an upgrade, is to bring an assistant. I love doing this because it takes all the pressure off from me to actually do behind the scenes. We'll kind of talk in the beginning. I kind of tell the assistant what I'm looking for. So if the assistant is there just to capture behind the scenes, that's what I'll tell them. If I'd like for them to actually be maybe helping me move equipment or, you know, helping my client, I'll let them know. Just manage expectations between you and your assistant before they even start. I love having an assistant with me. So I'll literally either give them my camera or they'll use my phone, or they'll use their phone and they'll just take some video clips of me. They don't have to be very intentional. I just need some clips of me photographing my client, talking to my client, maybe flipping through the shoot plan that we're working with, just some clips. And then later on, when I have the time to sit down and do some curation, I'll actually sit down and create some content from those clips. So when you have an assistant, you can literally pay them by the hour. You can, if you're doing a 3-hour branding shoot, you can pay someone for 3 hours to come and assist you. I love having an assistant. I do not have one for every single shoot. Most of the time I'm doing tip number 1 and tip number 2, getting time lapse and getting some B-roll. And if it's a really awesome shoot that I'm probably gonna need a lot of help with, or I just know that the behind the scenes are gonna be epic, I will definitely hire an assistant. So those are my 3 tips. 1 is to set up a time lapse that really shows how you kind of get your work done, how you help your client. You can even do a time lapse in your own home if you're doing some editing. I love doing this. I'll edit a session and put my phone up and literally have the phone pointing at the computer. And so for me, it might be a 45-minute editing session from start to finish. But when that video is done and you play it, it's probably going to be like 60 seconds. And it's just going to show the client's images going through and you kind of editing them. It looks really, really cool. I've definitely done this before. So getting some time lapse of your, behind the scenes at a shoot or even at home. The second tip was to capture B-roll or some secondary footage of, your location, maybe some B-roll of the props that the client is using. You can even have the client have their clothing or their outfits on a rack, and you can get some B-roll of the actual outfits. And then the third up-level tip is to bring an assistant. Okay, I think I have a question in the queue that I'm going to pop in and answer. Let me see. Okay, Trent says, I always worry that my behind the scenes is boring for people, although I love behind the scenes pics. It's so fun. It's so fun. I actually think that people seeing the behind the scenes clips before they actually see the photos makes them appreciate the photos even more. And there's so many ways to spruce up the behind the scenes. If you think it's boring, you can add music, you can add little, GIFs on top of it. You can add a voiceover on top of it. There's so many ways to kind of elevate your behind the scenes, but literally just having the footage is so awesome. It's just really awesome for people to see that transformation. So don't feel like it's boring, because it's really, really cool. I love watching behind the scenes too. Another question that I always get is photographers will say, I'm too nervous to do behind the scenes. I feel like my client might be uncomfortable or they might not like it. And if this was any other niche of photography, maybe like family photography or newborn photography, something like that, I can totally understand you feeling like your client would not be comfortable with it. But as branding photographers who are photographing entrepreneurs and brands, they also can appreciate behind the scenes because they know that they need content to reach their audience. So every time I'll kind of tell my client, hey, I'm just going to set up this camera or set up my phone to do a time lapse, or I'm going to just get some B-roll while you're changing clothes. I'm going to get some footage of our location. Don't worry, I'll tag you. Like, they love that stuff because it's extra eyes on them, because you're going to be posting it to your stories. You're going to be tagging them. It'll give you just another way to talk about your client and what you're doing together. So like I said, different types of photography, I can see, you're kind of curious about whether they'll like it or not. But honestly, branding photography, entrepreneurs, we see each other. we know that behind the scenes and just, all that kind of footage is really, really helpful for building each other's brands. So anytime I take behind the scenes, I let my client know I'm excited about it. I tell them I'll send it to them, I'll email it to them, I'll tag them wherever they need it. I just did a branding shoot last week where I did a time lapse. I put it up on, I think my ring light. I think I brought a ring light or a tripod or something. I put it there and I literally just photographed her for about 5 minutes, and I had the time lapse going. I sent it to her and she's already posted a reel before I even posted one. She's already posted a reel. So I think that's so cool that we can really help each other, create content and reach new audiences. Okay. Someone said, I love behind the scenes more than shooting. It really is so much fun. Okay. So yes, those are the tips I have. Those are very helpful tips for just kind of getting in front of, more audiences and kind of building that personal brand with your current audience. So if you have any more questions, leave them in the comments below. Just a reminder, if you are a branding photographer or pivoting into branding photography, I did create a free Facebook community where I will be doing some live coaching in there. I'll be answering questions. Great way for us to connect with each other in a group. So you can click the link wherever you're watching this. I'll make sure that I link it there so you can come and join us. And I will talk to you soon. Thanks for watching.